It's it's been a few weeks since this happened. Have you had enough content? Have you seen enough videos about the Will Smith slap on Chris Rock at the Oscars? Yeah, and you know what? Let's do just one more. As that story really did take a lot of twists and turns that I think a lot of people probably weren't expecting. I mean, I think the first thing that we have to look at there is just like how much of an absolute stud Chris Rock actually is. So much more than you would ever like. If you ever watched his comedy, you would not think that. But man, like to take to take a swat like that was actually that was whatever anybody else has to say about it. That was a pretty good smack from Will Smith. And to take that and not even lose his smile, and then to just continue on as if nothing had happened, like Chris Rock is an absolute alpha. That he just, I think that pretty much immediately he knew that he had crossed some kind of a line that maybe even he thought at that point that maybe he shouldn't have crossed. But he didn't sit there, he didn't whine, he didn't complain about it. He just kind of shrugged off and just kept on going like it hadn't even happened. I mean, just you could not possibly have played anything better than that. But as great as this whole thing has been for Chris Rock, I mean, ironically, you get the shit slapped out of you on TV, you probably don't think that's going to go so well for you. But he has really managed to get the best out of this situation. But the really unfortunate thing about it is actually what this whole thing has done to Will Smith and has done to his career. I mean, it doesn't sound to me like anything concrete has come down, as like a final judgment or anything. But there's talk that he might have to give back his Oscar. Some of his movies have been like finished movies where all the checks are written, all the money is already spent, but they're still shelving these movies because apparently this is how they're going to punish Will Smith for assaulting somebody on stage at the Oscars. And there's a lot of talk now that Will Smith's career might basically be over. And that's really sad. That's really unfortunate. Because, don't get me wrong, like Will Smith was, of the guys involved, he was the guy that was most in the wrong. I think that everybody involved in that was in the wrong at least a little bit. But Will Smith was the guy that stormed the stage, that smacked Chris Rock. He's the one that's most in the wrong. So, yeah, there probably should be some kind of a price there to be paid for that. But to lose his entire career over it, that's just too much. And the thing is that whatever Will Smith did in that situation, and as wrong as it might have been, I don't think that Will Smith is a bad guy. Will Smith, he seems to me like he is, pretty genuinely a pretty decent guy. And Chris Rock does as well. And as a matter of fact, I haven't read it anywhere. I don't know if Chris Rock has come out and actually even said it, but, one thing we did know pretty close to after that was that Chris Rock, he didn't really know about Jada Pinkett Smith's medical condition, which resulted in the loss of her hair, which precipitated the famous G.I. Jane joke about her baldness. He didn't know about any of that. And I kind of think, and he hasn't come out and said this much, but I suspect that this is probably the case, that if he knew about that, then he probably would not have made that joke. Chris Rock will go a lot of places, but he doesn't seem to me like he's really actually a mean guy. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that he would have skipped over Jada Pinkett Smith entirely. He's definitely not the kind of guy that does that. But I don't think that he would have made that particular joke. But of all the people involved in this situation, Jada Pinkett Smith is legitimately probably one of the least sympathetic characters in the entire thing. Like, even less sympathetic than Will Smith. I mean, because she was kind of the one that kind of put Will Smith on the spot, and, she shot him that glare and kind of put him in that position where he had to do something, to please her, so to speak. And really, the things that she's done in that marriage, like, Will Smith absolutely should not be going out of his way, to please Jada Pinkett Smith. The affair that she had with one of her son's friends of all people, like, and the things that she subjected Will Smith to as a result of that quote unquote entanglement. I mean, that's unconscionable. She did not really deserve for Will Smith to jump to her defense like that. And based on what I've seen, I mean, I don't spend all day and night digging through celebrity dirt sheets. I've got more important things in my life to focus on than that. But of all the things that have reached my attention, it doesn't really seem like Jada Pinkett Smith has been a very active voice in her husband's defense, considering the price that her husband is now paying for something that he did in her defense. So, in my opinion, I mean, Will Smith and Chris Rock, they both strike me as good guys. I think not everybody shares that opinion, in particular of Will Smith, but that is my honest opinion of him. But if you were to ask me if I thought that Jada Pinkett Smith is a good person, no, I would not be able to give that answer. And I think that it's a shame that two good guys, two guys who are just, in my opinion, such genuinely good guys, are now going through all of this, basically over somebody that is just, quite frankly, so inexcusably awful. But hey, I guess as long as the memes are good, right?